polish him off. But let me tell you what happened. 68, Johnny Robinson was the guy that stopped it up. Let's take a look at the pass that enabled Seattle to get down into scoring range. Largent has Lester Hayes man-on-man. Hayes' back is to the football. He never sees it. Largent makes a good reaction, comes back, catches the ball. Lester loses his feet. Largent runs upfield and almost gets it in. Burgess Owen gives him some help and knocks Largent out of bounds.
And that's where we stand right now. 3 plays later, it is 3rd and goal from the 9. Zorn overthrows Sherman Smith. And with the coverage, Randy McClanahan, who is in replacing an injured Bob Nelson. And McClanahan is doing a stellar job this afternoon, Gene Washington.
Well, that's a tough pass. Number 57, Randy McClanahan, is 6'5". Zorn had no place to throw the ball but to try to loft it over his head, and there was really no place to put it. If he tried to nail it in there, probably would have ended up with an interception. Better to take the 3 points.
Now in to try the field goal for the Seahawks, Efren Herrera. He's 2 for 3 this year. Herrera has not missed a field goal inside the 40-yard line in over a year. This one a 26-yarder, and it is perfect. So with 4:45 remaining here in the first half at Oakland, it is the Oakland Raiders 7, the Seattle Seahawks 3. In Kansas City. As you see, Efren Herrera set to kick things away for the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks trailing 7-3 here, 4:45 to play in the first half. Deep to receive for the Raiders, number 80, the rookie out of Virginia Union, Malcolm Barnwell and Ira Matthews. It's a short kick. It'll be Matthews at his own 12. Just across the 20-yard line before he is nailed to the ground by number 25, Don Dufek. 50-year man out of the University of Michigan. Speaking of Michigan, what a job the Wolverines did yesterday at Notre Dame.
I'm telling you. It'll be interesting to see what Oakland does this time they have the football. They've been so impressive with their offensive line play and running the ball. They just knocked Seattle back. I think we're going to see a little more play action because they're running the ball so well. That play action gives Plunkett even more time. He gets a lot of time to throw the football, but play action will give him even more time.
So the Raiders will operate now from their own 21-yard line. The give is to Jensen. He's across the 30-yard line near the 32, up across the 33. It is Justin and John Harris combining to make the stop. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
There you see where we are coming to you from. We are in a hanging cage at the 50-yard line because of this baseball configuration here at Oakland. They are still playing billy ball here. First and 10, Oakland. The ball at the 32-yard line. Play action. Plunkett. And it is intercepted out of bounds by Kerry Justin. It was an incompletion. It'll be 2nd and 10, Oakland.
Well, that's the play action that I was talking about before, and that's what Oakland wants to do with their vertical offense. They want to get the ball downfield. They want to put it up in the air. When you have a guy like Cliff Branch who can run and go get it, that's what you should do. But they just had the wrong time in that situation because Seattle was in their deep zone defense, and there's no way Plunkett was going to get the ball over their head, so he just threw it out of bounds.
2nd and 10, ball at the 33. That has to be very difficult trying to snap that ball out around second base. Setbacks, Kenny King, Derek Jensen. The give to Jensen. Tries the left side. He will not get away from number 53, Keith Butler. The outside linebacker, 4th-year man out of Memphis State. 2nd-round pick back in 1978.
Butler's a very eager type of linebacker. Very intense, very aggressive. Sometimes, though, he can overreact and overplay, and play action will hurt him. But the coaches love his attitude towards the football game, and he's the kind of player, when you hear that somebody gives 110% effort, he's coming on every play.
Seattle Seahawks, one of only 2 teams to hold a series edge over these world champion Oakland Raiders. They've won 4 of their 7 meetings against Oakland. They'd like to make it 5 here today. Plunkett all the time in the world. Kenny Easley almost picks it off. He can't do it, but John Harris can. Harris runs out of bounds and out of gas at the Raider 45-yard line. Morris Bradshaw over there to softly push him out of bounds. Kenny Easley, Gene, thus far this afternoon has been in the right place at the right time.
Well, he was certainly in the right place here, but Jim Plunkett has his head in the wrong place because he threw the football with no chance. His receiver had no chance to catch the football. As you can see on the replay, there are 3 Seattle defenders, 1 Oakland pass receiver. You got no chance. The odds are against you. John Harris, a very smart football player, the smartest football player in the Oakland defense, as a matter of fact, comes up with the interception with help from Kenny Easley.
Plunkett's second interception of the day. Sherman Smith and David Hughes, the running backs, and Zorn will go upstairs. Got a man. It is Largent. Tries to reverse his field at the 40, cannot do so. The man had a hold of him is Matt Millen, the second-year man out of Penn State. Pickup of about 5 yards on the play. Kenny Easley has just done it all thus far this afternoon, Gene.
As we take a look at Easley backing up into that zone defense, he's watching the quarterback all the way. He's reading it. He sees it. He says, here comes my interception. He goes up, just like the coaches say, take the ball at its highest point, comes down, bobbles it, and just sort of gives it a little tap to his friend. They come up with the interception.
The near side, Steve Largent. McCullum split to the top of your screen. Largent comes in motion, and Zorn will drop the pass on 2nd and 4. McCullum. And he is finally run out of bounds there by Lester Hayes. And I'll tell you, I don't know what the Seahawks have found here in the second quarter, Gene, but they are beginning to put an offensive drive together.
What they are doing is that they're giving Zorn time to throw the football for beginners. Secondly, Oakland is going into a zone defense. Their linebackers in the middle don't have great speed, so they need to try to get deep drops. And what Seattle is doing is that they're coming underneath. They did it before with Largent, who went to one side of the field. They came back to 84 Sam McCullum, who did the same thing and just to the other side of the field.
Zorn, with 2 minutes, 7 seconds to play in the first half, already throwing for over 130 yards here today. Sherman Smith comes to the near side. Lone setback again is Hughes. On 1st and 10. It is picked off by the start, Ted Hendricks. Yeah, they're saying he was bobbling the ball.
What a super play by number 83, Ted Hendricks. Great effort, sticks his arm out there. Look at this beautiful shot we have from the end zone. We can see as this play develops. Zorn has his tight end coming out on a delay. The tight end, number 81, John Sawyer, has Hendricks beat. But once Hendricks sticks out those long, stark arms, he gains another 2 or 3 yards. Picks it off. As you can see on the replay, he didn't have possession of it when he went out of bounds.
Now you've got to have both feet inbounds and have possession. And it appears as if Hendricks had neither. So it is 2nd and 10 for Seattle. They trail in this ball game 7-3. 2:02 to play in the first half. Zorn rolls right. And he throws it out of bounds. He's looking for McCullum. And Lester Hayes was right on him.
As Zorn goes back to think about that, we mentioned before that what he wants to do is to try to get his receivers into their patterns very early.
So, the 2-minute warning. The Raiders lead it 7-3, and we'll be back. There you take a look at Tom Flores, and only his 2nd year as the head coach of these world champion Raiders. What a job he has done.
But he's a little concerned at this point. In the first quarter, it was all Oakland. Seattle has turned things around. They're coming back now.
Largent and McCullum go wide left as you take a look at the Seattle head coach Jack Patera.
Oakland's going with 6 defensive backs.
And the give is to Terry Miller. And he will not get very much, possibly back to the line of scrimmage. Rod Martin is there to pull him down.
In an obvious passing situation, Jim Zorn elects to run his sprint draw, hoping that those defensive linemen will be upfield, opening up the middle. It didn't work that time. I think Oakland had decided, well, maybe this is the time they'll run the sprint draw, and they were right there waiting for it.
Ephraim Herrera, who is 1 for 1 today, will try this one from 40 yards out.
Will they kick it or will they fake? They're known for fakes.
kick it this time. And it is no good. Wide right. We welcome those of you who are watching the Denver Bronco game. We are at Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum, where the Seattle Seahawks have just missed a 40-yard field goal attempt. We have 1:10 remaining in the second period, with Oakland in front 7-3. Jack Patera, a man who a year ago could not buy a victory.
Lost all of their games at home. But they lost 5 of those games, I think, going into the last 3 minutes, and they were ahead 5 times. That's unusual.
And they were ahead of some pretty good football teams, namely the Oakland Raiders and the Philadelphia Eagles. Speaking of the Raiders, here's Jim Plunkett on 1st and 10. It is Jensen. Picks up about 4 yards before he's knocked down by Keith Simpson, the cornerback, 4th-year man out of Memphis State.
We take a look at number 31, Derek Jensen, as he goes back. I'm sure he's a lot busier today than he thought he was going to be.
Bill Stone and Gene Washington in Oakland, California. Plunkett, 2nd and 5. Got a man over the middle. Again, it is Jensen. And the man who misses the tackle is Keith Simpson. Jensen finally taken out of bounds just shy of the midfield stripe by Kenny Easley.
Take a look at Kenny Easley, who knocked Jensen out of bounds. As I mentioned before, number 31, Derek Jensen, has been much busier than he thought, coming in to take the place of Mark Van Egan, who's gone out with a hamstring injury.
There you take a look at Easley. Oddly enough, he is the first player in Pac-10 history to be named all-conference 4 straight years. They've had some pretty fair athletes in the Pac-10.
There's one right there, Jim Plunkett.
And you're looking at one. Plunkett, 1st and 10, 25 seconds to go here in the first half. Plunkett under pressure. Got a man wide open. It is Cliff Branch. Easley and Keith Simpson combined to stop Branch inside the 30-yard line as the Raiders tried desperately to get something going with 19 seconds to play. And the Raiders call a timeout, and we'll be back to Oakland in just a moment. And Gene, you had a few minutes to talk to Bob this morning.
He expects to be back in 4 or 5 weeks, which is incredible considering he just had surgery
for a ruptured spleen. The Raiders 1st and 10 at their own Seahawk 30-yard line. They lead 7-3. Plunkett got a man. Touchdown. Morris Bradshaw simply beat Kerry Justin and John Harris, Gene.
Well, what happened was that Oakland confused them. They had Cliff Branch going downfield. Then he broke to the middle, clearing the area for number 81, Morris Bradshaw, who went over there, and there was no one there because they had all of their attention focused on number 21, Cliff Branch. Let's take a look from another angle. Cliff Branch must feel like the horse that Paul Revere was on, because he's not going to get much credit for this. Morris Bradshaw made a great catch and gets all the credit, but a lot of the credit is due to Cliff Branch, number 21.
And there you see the point after is blocked by Brian Flonis, the rookie out of Washington State. So there you see it. The Oakland Raiders leading the Seattle Seahawks 13-3. That drive, 4 plays, 78 yards. Something about the big play offense of the Oakland Raiders. And the man who made it work right there, Morris Bradshaw, with a 29-yard touchdown pass from Jim Plunkett.
That's what they call the vertical offense. That's getting the football in the air, north and south, not east and west. Couldn't have a better example. There he is, 16, Jim Plunkett. Playing with a lot of confidence now. Much more confidence than he had over the past couple of years. Of course, being the MVP in the Super Bowl does help.
No question about that as you take a look at Morris Bradshaw. Bradshaw, the wide receiver, 8th-year man out of Ohio State. And believe me, he didn't spend too many afternoons catching passes for Woody Hayes. I'll tell you that right now.
but the time spent at Ohio State has certainly been helpful for Tim on his special teams work here at Oakland, where he's done an outstanding job.
Chris Barr will kick off for the Raiders. Back deep to receive. There you see him. Gregory Johnson and Will Lewis. Here's a squibber. And it'll be fielded by an up man. That is Peter Cronin, a linebacker, and he does a nice job of advancing the ball outside the 45-yard line. For Seattle will have time for possibly two, certainly one play. 9 seconds to play here in the first half. Todd Christensen on the stop. First and 10 Seahawks, their own 45-yard line. They find themselves on the short end of a 13-3 score here at beautiful afternoon for football here in Oakland. Temperature in the mid-70s. Not a cloud in the sky.
Well, Oakland's going to line up very deep with their linebackers and their halfbacks. The free safety Burgess Owens is not even in the picture. He's about 25 yards deep.
Zorn. Little flare pattern to Sherman Smith, and he gets out of bounds with about 4 seconds to play. They'll have time to unload one more from the 48-yard line.
Seattle has looked an awful lot better in the second quarter. They started off in the first quarter not doing very much of anything, but in the second quarter, Zorn has had time to throw the ball, and when he gets time, he's going to get the ball there, and he has excellent receivers, and they're going right after these Oakland defenders, the cornerbacks. Largent has been very effective against number 37, Lester Hayes, thus far.
And there are not too many wide receivers in the league, Gene, who can boast that. Largent to the near side. McCullum split wide left to the top of your screen. And it is given right up the middle to Hughes. And apparently Seattle will be content to go in to the locker room here at halftime, trailing 13-3. As you see, Zorn talk things over with Jack Patera. The Raiders scored first on an 11-yard run by Jim Plunkett. In the second quarter, the Seahawks came back on a 26-yard field goal from Efrain Herrera. And then with 13 seconds to play in the second quarter, a 29-yard pass to Jim Plunkett to Morris Bradshaw. So that is where we stand. That's the end of the first half. The score, Oakland 13, the Seahawks 3. It is halftime at Oakland, California. There you see the Oakland Raiders leading the Seattle Seahawks 13-3. And it has really been a game dominated statistically, Gene, by the Oakland Raiders.
Well, Oakland certainly in the first quarter dominated the game completely. Seattle started to come back in the second quarter. They're playing a lot better. And the reason is that Seattle's offensive line is giving Zorn a little more time to throw the ball.
Interestingly enough, Gene, we are seeing a lot of motion from the Seattle Seahawks, and I have to believe that is confusing the Raiders just a bit.
Well, I think with that motion, you may see this yardage situation change in the second half. Seattle only has 138 yards compared to Oakland's 200. But what Seattle wants to do with their motion is that they want to give their receivers a chance to get downfield against that bump and run. We take a look here on the screen at that beautiful championship ring. There it is, 2 diamonds in the middle, signifying 2 world championships.
That's what it's all about. That's what they play this game for. Sunday in and Sunday out. 33 5-point diamonds, 2 3/4 carat diamonds. And there you look at the Oakland Raiders. 179 victories, 68 losses. Look at that winning percentage. Past 17 years. And we are just about set to go. Getting the second half underway. Efrain Herrera will put it in play. Back deep to receive. Malcolm Barnwell, number 80. Number 43, Ira Matthews. And we're underway. It is Matthews at his 10. Out across the 25-yard line near the 30, and a flag flies. Michael Jackson knocked his feet out from under him.
Jackson making illegal use of the hands against Oakland.
So they'll walk it off from the point at which Matthews went down. So instead of beginning from their own 27-yard line, they'll take it back inside the 20 and start from the 17.
We watched Jim Plunkett trot out onto the field. They were very effective in that first half.
Number 54 on the return. First down.
There you take a look at the officials today's game. Pat Haggerty, Dave Moss, Terry Gerke, Walt Peters, Jim Toole, Dick Creed and Bob Lewis. What a job these guys do. Here we go. The Raiders. First possession here in the third period from their own 17. The give is to Jensen, and he gets just about back to the line of scrimmage before the third-year man out of Jackson State, Robert Hardy, brings him down. I'll run down the lineups for you here in the second half. Plunkett at quarterback, the running backs, Kenny King, Derek Jensen, the wide receivers, Bradshaw, Cliff Branch. Tight end is Raymond Chester. There you take a look at him. There's the offensive line. Shell Upshaw, Dalby, Mickey Marvin, and Henry Lawrence. Plunkett, the give is to Kenny King, and he hammers across the 20-yard line. Tuiasa Sopo is there. 6'3", 252 pounds out of UCLA. There's the defensive line. Jacob Green, Robert Hardy, Tuiasa Sopo, Freddie Anderson. Linebackers, Jackson Beeson and Butler. Same lineup they started the game with. Simpson, Justin, Kenny Easley, John Harris. It is third down, 6 yards to go. Ball on the 21. Counter play, Kenny King, he's got the first down. Beautifully executed counter.
We'll take a look from the end zone as Plunkett confuses the Seattle defense, drops back like he's going to pass, and that's a draw play. But that draw play is only effective when you have someone back there who can carry the ball with the speed that Kenny King has. He beats his people to the outside, enabling them to pick up that first down. You can't do that if you don't have a guy back there that has good speed.
Number 42, Keith Simpson, the man who put the initial hit on King, is still down. Far side of the field. So while we have a timeout, we'll tell you it is Oakland 13, Seattle 3. We'll be back to Oakland in just a moment. Keith Simpson being taken off the field, and that's got to be bad news if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan. They do not have a great deal of depth back there, Gene.
Well, he was initially holding his neck. I think he got a shot right in the helmet, and I think he also ended up with a bloody nose to boot.
So here we go. The Oakland Raiders now first and 10 from outside their own 30-yard line. Plunkett on a screen. Oh, this is nice. Jensen finally wrestled out of bounds at the midfield stripe. Oh, you could see that develop, and that was a thing of beauty. Michael Jackson finally takes them out of bounds. You won't find him any better than that, Gene.
Plunkett drops back. He's been getting plenty of time to throw the ball all day today. He draws those defensive linemen in. He lifts it over the head. Now watch Jensen breaks a tackle right there, breaks another tackle. He has just done a super job of filling in for the injured Mark Van Eegen. What a surprise.
Harris and Justin had a shot at him. Could not bring him down. Pretty nifty footwork from a guy who weighs 205 pounds. First and 10. Ball just across the midfield stripe. They give us to King.
That's Kenny King.
Student body right. They call it at USC. Pickup of about 8 yards on the play. Robert Hardy, third-year man out of Jackson State, and Kenny Easley.
Robert Hardy makes
The explosive running style of number 33, Kenny King. Fastest running back probably that the Oakland Raiders have ever had. Has meant an awful lot to them because he's opened up that passing attack for them.
Well, it's very important for the Oakland Raiders to start fast here in 1981. 4 of their first 6 games against AFC Western Division opponents. One of them here today, the Seattle Seahawks. Plunkett will go down. And the man there is the second-year guy, the man we spoke of in the pregame, Jacob Green.
That'll be a
Big number 75, 79, Jacob Green. Had 4 sacks coming into this ball game. Had 6 all of last season.
He's got size, he's got quickness, Gene, he has intelligence, and that's about all you need to be a Pro Bowler, isn't it?
An awful lot of ability helps, too. He's going against number 70, Killer Henry Lawrence, who's done an outstanding job in the first half against him. But what happened in this situation is that Lawrence can only hold him out so long. Plunkett couldn't find anything and wisely decided to hold on to the football and not turn it over again, and just went down.
3rd and 9. Plunkett will try and put it up again. Again, Green is there, cannot bring him down. Plunkett. And the man man he overthrows is Morris Bradshaw. Doug Sutherland, good pressure there.
Plunkett goes off. He knew that he had his man, number 81, Morris Bradshaw, open. Jim throwing the ball on the run, threw it just a little too high. Well, as a matter of fact, it was a lot too high. It wasn't even close, but he had Bradshaw open.
And this will be the first punt for Ray Guy in the afternoon. Glad to tell you that the cornerback for the Seahawks, Keith Simpson, he was only kicked in the mouth. He'll be all right. There you see Ray Guy's average. Can you believe it? 49.5 yards every time he puts his foot to the ball. Will Lewis back deep to receive. Oh. Penalty flag is down, and Guy puts it into the end zone. And he's unhappy with himself. Flag down on the far side of the field, and you almost believe, Gene, as if perhaps a Raider left too soon.
Encroachment, offense, 56.
You call it exactly right.
Encroachment by Jeff Barnes.
Encroachment, offense, decline.
And they're going to turn it down. Wisely so. The Seahawks with the football at the 20-yard line. 11:28 to go here in the third period. It is Oakland 13, Seattle 3.
The Hilton's right across the street.
Well, let's meet back at the Hilton at 8.
Morning, Gene Washington coming to you from Oakland, California. As you take a look at some of the suntan fans here at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, as the Seahawks try to get something started here in period number 3. First and 10, ball at the 20-yard line. Following a Ray Guy punt that carried all the way into the end zone. Sherman Smith, David Hughes out of the I formation. Zorn, long count. He's going to be whistled for too much time. Delay a game.
Zorn is pointing to the clock. He's saying he still had time. The officials disagree. I think what happened is that Zorn saw that Oakland had a blitz on. He audibled at the line of scrimmage, but he just ran out of time. Simple as that.
Delay of game, offense.
So it'll now be first and 15 on their own 15-yard line. There you see Sam McCullum. He'll be joined by Steve Largent and John Pauls as the Seahawks will employ a 3-wide receiver formation. Running back Sherman Smith, David Hughes. The give is to Sherman Smith, and he is hit right away. Cedric Hardman. No fooling the 12th year pro out of North Texas State.
Stopped by Cedric Hardman for a 2-yard loss.
We told you early on, first period, the Raiders lost the services of Mark Van Egan, and this is how it happened, Gene. A crushing hit here.
You'll see that he gets a blow from the helmet or shoulder pad directly on his knee. There it is, just above the knee. And I think what happened is that with that blow coming directly on, he hyperextended his leg, causing the hamstring muscle to pull.
And they carried him from the field in the first quarter on a stretcher. Diagnosis, a pulled hamstring. They're now in the third quarter. It is 2nd and 17. Zorn unloads. He's got McCullum. A first down outside the 30-yard line. A big play when the Seahawks needed it most.
You said a big play, and that's exactly right. Sam McCullum, he's coming across. He's going to be picked up by number 44, Burgess Owens. Owens has his back turned now. He stumbles a little bit. That gives Zorn time to get the ball over to 84, Sam McCullum, who makes a super effort. Gets up for the first down. McCullum had a big year last year. Really came on.
So the Seahawks with a first down now outside their own 30-yard line. They trail 13-3. 10 minutes, 37 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Smith and Hughes, the running backs, Largent in motion. Zorn with time, floats it. It's to Largent. Did he catch it? Yes, he did. He bobbled it momentarily, and again, the man he beat was Lester Hayes. And again, Gene, motion for the Seattle Seahawks offense.
We're going to continue to see that motion. And as we'll see on this replay, what Zorn wants his receivers to do is to be able to get downfield against the bump and run. When you're playing against guys as strong as Lester Hayes is, it's tough to do that right off the line of scrimmage, so he'll have his receivers come in motion. When the ball is snapped, they can get away from the line of scrimmage much quicker.
John Pauls, a reserve wide receiver, a rookie out of Tulsa, goes wide left to the top of your screen. Largent to the near side. 1st and 10, ball at the 47. Sherman Smith, he's still on his feet across the 40-yard line into Raider territory, out of bounds at the 33. And again, it is the sprint draw that turns the trick for the Seahawks. Burgess Owens finally bumps him out of bounds.
This is...
Boy, I'll tell you something. The Seattle Seahawks offensive line is doing a job today on Ted Hendricks.
Well, Hendricks gets fooled a little bit this time. Second effort block on the part of number 64, Rod Essick. He springs 47, Sherman Smith. Smith coming off that injury. You can see he broke through there with good speed, but before that injury, he may have gone all the way. He's about 80% back now. When he gets 100%, he's going to help his ball club immensely.
I remember Sherman Smith when he quarterbacked the Miami University Redskins. Zorn rolling left, got a man, and it is knocked down. The man he was after again was Sherman Smith, and Otis McKinney, the fill-in for Mike Davis, knocked it loose.
Number 23, Otis McKinney, as you mentioned, he's filling in for an injured Mike Davis, who's one of the best strong safeties in football, out with an injury. There's a flag down on the field, though. But Otis McKinney's doing an outstanding job filling in, and what Seattle tried to do was they tried to match up one of their running backs, 47, Sherman Smith, who's a little quicker than 23, Otis McKinney, but McKinney made a good play and was right there on the spot.
Now McKinney coming from the New York Giants. Take a listen to this call by the official.
Holding, number 54, offense.
Center, Art Kuhn, guilty of holding.
Now it is 1st and 20 for the Seahawks. Smith and Hughes, the running backs. Again, Largent comes wide to the right, the bottom of your screen. A give right up the middle. Sherman Smith has got running room. Picks up about 7 yards on the play. Ted Watts is there.
It's number 43, Jim Jodat.
Jim Jodat.
They're running right at that Oakland defensive line. Seattle must run at them in order to negate that pass rush. They can't let those guys sit back there and tee off all day.
Next Sunday, host Bryant Gumbel for NFL 81. Join him. All the highlights, scores, and late-breaking news from all the games, featuring a clash between two powerhouses, the New England Patriots, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Dan Fouts with the Chargers and the revamped Denver Broncos next Sunday on NFL 81. Second down, 13 yards to go. The ball at the 37-yard line. Largent in motion. Zorn. Got a man. McCullum. Touchdown, Seattle. And the man he beat was Dwayne Osteen. And again, as we have talked all afternoon long, Gene, it is the motion of Seattle.
That's exactly right. As we take a look at this replay, they had Largent coming in motion. They caught Oakland in a man-to-man defense. Sam McCullum told me yesterday, we're going to go after these defensive backs. We don't think number 35, Dwayne Osteen, is as good as Lester Hayes. We're going to go at him. He gets in the end zone. He celebrates. Let's take a look from the end zone. He has him beat by 2 or 3 steps. Zorn lays the ball up there. McCullum runs under it for 6 points.
So after him, Herrera will try and draw the Seahawks to within 3, and he does it. So the Seahawks move right down the football field here in the third period with 8 minutes, 6 seconds to play. It is the Oakland Raiders 13, the Seattle Seahawks 10. They have just pulled it within 3 points of the Oakland Raiders. It is now 13-3 as Herrera puts his toe to the leather, and we're set to go. It is Barnwell. He's got running room, but not for long. The man bringing him down, Kerry Justin. So the Raiders will begin this drive from the 27-yard line. There you see the score, 13-10, Oakland. Seattle scoring play, 7 plays, 80 yards, 36-yard touchdown pass. Zorn to McCullum. Jim Plunkett trots onto the field to try and get something going for these world champion Oakland Raiders.
Well, this game has turned out to be more of a typical game between Oakland and Seattle. It was a little one-sided the first half in favor of Oakland.
The give, second man, Kenny King got room around the right side. And he is out of bounds, just shy of the 40-yard line. That'll be good enough for another first down for the Raiders. Running him out of bounds, Keith Simpson, the man who was kicked in the face on the last series for Oakland, and Kenny Easley. We'll take a look at some final scores for you today. A few surprises. Miami over Houston, 16-10. Cleveland finally in the victory column over Cincinnati, 2017. Pittsburgh burying the New York Jets. San Francisco losing to Atlanta, 34-17. Minnesota over the Detroit Lions, 26-24. An upset there. Here it is 13-10. First and 10, Oakland. It is it is Derek Jensen. Pickup of about 6 yards. You can look at a few other scores around the NFL today. Look what St. Louis did to Washington, 40-30 Cardinals. Final now in on that San Diego, a wild one at Arrowhead, 42-31 over the Chiefs. Chicago over Tampa Bay by 11. Second down, 4 yards to go. The ball resting at the 46-yard line.
Jensen again with the ball.
Gain of about 2, possibly 3. He'll be short of the first down.
Kerry Justin making the stop.
Few ball games still going on around the league. Third quarter, it is Denver over the Baltimore Colts, 14-3. Look here, Los Angeles over Green Bay, 14-10. The Giants over New Orleans, 20-zip. Phillips having his problems. Not altogether unexpected.
Oakland has come in with their 3 tight end offense. Short yardage situation.
Lone setback, Derek Jensen. Third less than 1. It is Jensen, and he's got the first down. Across the midfield stripe.
Phil Jensen has done just a remarkable job coming in, filling in for the injured Mark Van Egan. It's just been terrific.
Jensen, as of just a few plays ago, 5 rushes for 36 yards, 6 receptions for over 50 yards. Not a bad afternoon. Third-year man out of Texas, Arlington.
Take a look at number 8, Ray Guy. Look at that average. 71 punts, a 43.6-yard average. As long as it's 66, I'm sure he's kicked some longer than that. He just got credit for one for 66.
The man is incredible. The give, Kenny King, as flags fly, a pickup of about 4 yards to the Seattle 46-yard line. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. Here's an update on that ball game in Denver. It is now 14-10 Broncos over the Colts. And you saw the Colts last week, Gene, a team that could generate no offense last week against the Buffalo Bills.
They got killed against the Bills last week.
Encroachment, number 75.
But Baltimore has lots of offensive weapons. And Curtis Dickey is the fastest man in the league now. I think he runs a 9/100. Tremendous speed.
And the rookie, Randy McMillan. Not a bad find. Here it is first down and 5 now. The ball just across the 45-yard line of Seattle. It is Jensen. And he runs off about an 11-yard gain inside the 35-yard line.
Phil, let's take a look at this from his sideline. Plunkett hands off to 31, Derek Jensen. He runs through there, and no one touches him for the first 5 yards. Give credit to number 50, Dave Dalby, number 65, Mickey Marvin, and 70, Henry Lawrence. They're doing a super job on the right side of that Oakland offensive line.
Jacob Green tripped them up initially, and Kenny Easley pounced on him. Another first down. The Raiders on the move here. 5:31 to play. Jensen with the football. And he's across the 30-yard line. Manu Tuiasosopo.
If it works once, try it again. They did exactly the same thing. But the one thing you have to be concerned about, can he carry the ball and perform that way all day long? You know, he hasn't played as much as Van Egan. He may not be in top shape. But evidently Plunkett says, you're going well, we're going to keep giving the football to you. We're going to hand it off to you, we're going to throw it to you. And he's done a good job.
He has done an outstanding job. Jensen, number 31, Kenny King, the other setback. The give this time to King, a big hole around the left side. He is brought down by Tuiasa Sopo.
Again, stopped by Mano Tuiasa.
Number 74, Mano Tuiasa Sopo. Lots of quickness in that defensive line. Doesn't have a lot of height, but has great strength and great quickness.
Next week up in Seattle, the Seahawks will host the Kansas City Chiefs. You'll have Tuiasa Sopo going against Manu Maliuna.
Frank Manu Maliuna.
I'll tell you, 2 candidates for the all-alphabet team. I'll tell you that right now. It is 3rd down, 2 yards to go. The Raiders needing a 1st down to keep this drive alive. 3 tight end formation for Oakland. Kenny King driving for the 1st down, and he's got it. Peter Cronin, the middle linebacker, in for Terry Beeson, finally brought him down with Kenny Easley.
And I'll tell you something. When a defensive back has to make the stop like that, you know that offensive line is doing a job. Henry Lawrence had number 75, Jacob Green, on roller skates. He had him backing up so fast, it's incredible. The killer, 70. Number 70, Henry Lawrence, is doing a job.
The Raiders with the ball now just outside the Seattle 20-yard line. Wide receivers, Branch. The give is to Kenny King. Flag goes down, and King is rolled out of bounds on the far side. The man putting the hit on him is Keith Simpson. And now we'll leave Oakland Coliseum for just a moment to New York and Byron Day.
Thank you very much, Phil Stone. Now, in Denver, Curtis Dickey takes a handoff from Burt Jones. Hello, goodbye. It's Dickey, 63 yards, the longest touchdown run in the NFL this season, making it 14-10. Denver on top in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we talked about Curtis Dickey. He's getting the job done for the Colts, and he will in 1981. I'll tell you that.
He is explosive. Raiders guilty of holding.
Arthur Whittington into the ball game now for Kenny King. He's joined by Derek Jensen. To the near side, Morris Bradshaw. Cliff Branch also on the near side. Plunkett on 1st and 20. Whittington trying to find the handle, and he finally grabs the ball just before being tripped up by Kerry Justin. Everybody knows the football has a handle.
Yeah, but they're very small. Plunkett drops back. Seattle's in the zone defense. They're going way back. Plunkett sets it up beautifully, throws it out here. If Whittington gets this ball early, he's got a long way to run. He's got Upshaw out in front of him. He just can't get his hands on it in time to get anything going. That play was beautifully set up.
Whittington, the 4th-year running back out of Southern Methodist, a Mustang. It is now 2nd down. 15 yards to go. The ball on the 25. Raiders leading 13-10. Plunkett all the time in the world. He's got a man. Far side. And it is number 22, Whittington again. And he is tackled by Keith Simpson.
Keith Simpson made a great play sitting back in his own defense. Ball thrown in front of him. Made a super effort coming up to make the tackle, a sure tackle. We take a look at him on the screen. Number 42, Keith Simpson. Tremendous athlete.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KING-TV, Seattle.
Keith Simpson, a first-round draft pick in 1978 out of Memphis State. 3rd down. 10 yards to go. The ball at the 20-yard line. Whittington and Jensen, the setbacks for the Raiders. Plunkett pressured. Fumble. And the Seahawks have recovered. Keith Simpson with the recovery, and Seattle turning away the Raiders when they had to.
That's exactly right. They did it when they had to. Seattle changed up. They did something that teams don't usually do when they're inside the 20. That is, they went into a zone defense. Most teams will play man-to-man. We'll take a look on the replay. Plunkett dropped back and he had plenty of time, but he just couldn't get away from Tuiasa Sopo, who knocked the ball away.
So the Seattle Seahawks with the football. 1:47 to play here in the 3rd period. Oakland leads this ball game 13-10.
Down downfield. But Seattle is in a zone defense. They trick Plunkett because normally teams will play man-to-man down here. You can see number 74, Mano Tuiasosopo, hit Plunkett from behind. Upshaw tried to scoop it up, but he's got 5 tons of bandage on his arms. He can't grab the football. Seattle comes up with it.
Keith Simpson, the man with the recovery. And that's a big play for the Seahawks. They needed the football. They only trail by 3. Sherman Smith, Jim Jodat, the running backs for the Seattle Seahawks. In motion, Largent coming towards us. The give, Jodat gains a couple. So the Seahawks will have a 2nd and 8 situation and will return to Oakland in just a moment. Now to Byron today. Byron?
Thank you very much, Phil Stone. The Broncos have struck back quickly. Craig Morton throwing his 3rd touchdown pass of the day, a 19-yarder to Steve Watson, his 2nd touchdown pass of the day. 21-10 Broncos, 1:45 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Phil?
Thank you, Byron. Now Curtis Dickey can't play defense for him, that's for sure. 2nd down, 6 yards to go for the Seahawks. Zorn wants to put it in the air. He's hit. And Sam McCullum had a chance to bring it down as Zorn goes down. The man hitting him was Dave Browning.
Lester Hayes is going to complain bitterly because he got picked. It was just like a pick in basketball. They worked it to perfection because Sam McCullum was running all alone, all by himself. Had Zorn been able to get the football, there was no one around McCullum at all.
Boy, Lester's really upset. There you take a look at that update Byron Day just gave you. Denver 21, Baltimore 10, 3rd quarter score. Mile High Stadium. Here in Oakland, we have 1:05 to play in the 3rd period. It is 13-10. The Oakland Raiders. Boy, the Seahawks always give them a battle. 3rd down, 6 yards to go. Zorn scrambling for his life. Now Hendricks is after him. He throws to the near side. His intended receiver, Sam McCullum. He cannot get it to him. Cedric Hardman and Ted Hendricks both. They were ready to crush him.
Phil, I was about to say that Ted Hendricks hadn't been that much of a factor in the ball game today, and just when I was thinking that to myself, he becomes a big factor. He breaks through there, he chases Zorn out of the pocket. Zorn is trying to find someone open, really has no chance, and just basically throws the football away.
Now it's a punting situation for Seattle, and they'll need a boomer today. And right now from Jeff West. Back deep to receive is Ira Matthews. The Raiders were coming, and West shanks it. Terrible punt.
Gets an Oakland bounce.
Don Dufik downs it, and the Raiders with outstanding field position at the Seattle 44-yard line. A 22-yard punt for the Seattle Seahawks. We'll be back. Picture perfect day here in Oakland, California. As we've told you, temperature in the mid-70s, not a cloud in the sky. Absolutely ideal as you take a look at the capacity crowd here at the Coliseum, watching their Oakland Raiders try and hold on to a 13-10 lead. Play action, Plunkett being chased. Now unloads. Wide open. Cliff Branch. Peter Cronin, the middle linebacker, making his drop and finally brings Branch down.
Jim Plunkett doing a good job of getting back there, dodging those guys, finding time to throw the ball, and he and Cliff Branch have really worked something out. Plunkett knows that Branch will go to his original spot, and if he's not open, he'll work for an open spot on the field. He did it last year in the Super Bowl game. Got in the end zone and worked for the open spot, and Plunkett found him, as he did just there, picking up the 1st down.
Well, Cliff Branch was the leading receiver on this team a year ago. What a job he does. Just year in and year out, Gene. 10 years out of Colorado, and he still gets the job done. And there you have it, the end of the 3rd quarter.
And
A score, the Oakland Raiders 13, the Seattle Seahawks 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Stadium, the Colts are looking very bad. Burt Jones throws one in the arms of Randy McMillan. He loses the handle, and the Broncos recover. Things from here, this point, go from bad to worse, and we'll show you that in a moment. Now let's go back to Phil Stone.
Thank you very much, Bryant Gumbel. Here in Oakland, the Raiders have the football after a terrible punt by Jeff West, 22 yards. It is now 1st and 10. The Raiders with the ball at the Seattle 32-yard line. They give right up the middle. It is Derek Jensen, the third-year man out of Texas Arlington. And what a job he has done today. Another update to New York in Byron Day. Byron?
Well, we said things would go from bad to worse for the Colts. Indeed, they did. Craig Morton having a field day. Steve Watson having an even better day. This is his third touchdown catch. Broncos move in front 28-10. Phil?
It is 2nd down, 8 yards to go. Plunkett to Kenny King. He gets just about back to the line of scrimmage before he's hit by Keith Simpson and Michael Jackson.
King uses speed to get to the outside. That draw play is designed to go up the middle, but there was nothing there. Terry Beeson, Tuiasa Sopo, and Robert Hardy, they close it up in the middle. King was able to get back to the line of scrimmage by using his speed just to get outside.
Kenny King, Derek Jensen coming out of the ball game on a 3rd and 5 situation. Oakland's converted 8 out of 13 third down situations. The Seahawks 1 out of 6. That ought to tell you something. Todd Christensen, BYU, and Arthur Whittington are the running backs. Whittington in motion. Plunkett. Oh, look at this. Christensen. A little delay out of the backfield. He's finally wrestled to the ground by Butler.
Seattle's philosophy on defense is obviously they're going to take away the big play. They're going to make Oakland throw the ball underneath. Branch was downfield heading towards the end zone. Plunkett just tosses it up in the air. Nice run and catch on the part of number 46, Todd Christensen, who comes in as the tight end position and will come out of the backfield.
Christensen and Whittington both check out. Kenny King, Derek Jensen both back into the ball game. Again, we tell you while they take a measurement that Mark Van Eegen was hurt in the first period. He was carried from the field on a stretcher with what is being called a hamstring injury. And it is a 1st down for the Oakland Raiders. "13 minutes, 14 seconds to play in the ball game. The Raiders holding on to a slim 13-10 lead. Look at this one. Los Angeles 14, Green Bay 13. And I'll tell you, teams around the NFL better take their shots at the Packers now, because if they agree to terms with John Jefferson, the Pack will be a hard team to do business with. Kenny King, left side, no running room. He's wrestled to the ground by John Harris, 4th-year man out of Arizona State. And speaking of John Harris, he was J.J.'s roommate at Arizona State.
Not a bad pair. That's a tough situation as a running back or a receiver. When you're playing on that dirt infield, you have no traction at all. You get over there and you try to make a cut, you just can't do it. As evidence in that situation. King got there, tried to make a cut. Feet came right out from underneath.
Well, the man we're talking about, John Harris, played for Frank Cush. Going wide left is Cliff Branch to the near side. Morris Bradshaw. It is 2nd and 9. Plunkett, plenty of time. To Kenny King, and it is over his head. Tipped it with his fingers and could not hold on. Plunkett looks a little upset with himself, applying a little pressure on that play. Manu Tuiasa Sopo.
That's exactly right. Number 74. You've heard his name a lot today. Manu Tuiasa Sopo. He's going against Art Shell, one of the best in the business. He keeps fighting. He's fighting. He finally gets in there, applies a little pressure. And what he does is he forces Jim to throw the ball and fall away at the same time. And Plunkett can't get an accurate throw.
Oh, you've got to know the Raiders would like to put a touchdown on the board here. A field goal, if they would have to settle for it, would only give them a 6-point lead. Seattle will come back and win it with a touchdown and point after. 3rd and 8. Plunkett. Todd Christensen, a 1st down inside the 5.
What happened in this situation is that Michael Jackson came up into the line of scrimmage, and he tries to knock Christensen off. Christensen is too big. He runs right past him. He gets out in front of him. And there's nothing that number 55, Michael Jackson, can do except trail him. Let's take another look. We have an angle from the sideline. Plunkett spots him. He's ahead of 55 Jackson. Gets the ball right to him with a bullet throw.
Well, that certainly changes the complexion of this ball game. It is now first and goal. Jensen to the 1. Keith Simpson, the cornerback, coming up quickly to make the stop.
By Jackson at the 1-yard line. Second and goal.
Number 31, Jensen, has been very impressive, but Phil, something that impresses me an awful lot is Jim Plunkett. Plunkett can throw a bad pass and come right back and throw a strike. I think that's an indication of the increased confidence that he's playing with this year.
A year ago, Gene, I don't think that would have been the case. He would have let those little things get him down.
Not anymore.
3 tight ends now for the Oakland Raiders. Second and goal. Jensen, take a look at it again. Sheer power running.
I think it's fitting that number 31, Derek Jensen, scores a touchdown. He's done just a super job. Gets a great block. For number 65, Mickey Marvin leads the way. Jensen gets in for the touchdown. He will be a tired young man tonight. He has done everything.
Tries to make it a 20-10 ball game, and he does it. And that touchdown by Derek Jensen, his first touchdown. What a job he has done this afternoon filling in for Mark Van Eeken. Fourth quarter score, Raiders 20, Seahawks 10. Phil Stone and Gene Washington with 11 minutes, 24 seconds to play here in Oakland, California. The Raiders have just taken a 20-10 lead. A 1-yard run by Derek Jensen. Certainly the key play, possibly not only on that drive, Gene, but perhaps in the game, the third down conversion to Todd Christensen that allowed the Raiders to go for the touchdown instead of a field goal.
And we talked about it before. Jim Plunkett is playing with much more confidence this season than he had before, and it really shows. He can make a bad pass and he'll come right back and make a big play.
Little confusion here between Will Lewis and Gregory Johnson. They both let it go out of the end zone. The Seahawks will begin this drive from their own 20-yard line. Say, next week on the baseball game of the week, a showdown in the National League West as the Dodgers meet the Astros and Nolan Ryan. Some of you, of course, will see a key game in the American League East as the Brewers face the always tough Detroit Tigers. Check your local listings for the game in your area. I don't know what it is, Gene, that seems to pique the Seattle Seahawks for these Oakland Raiders, but they do it year in and year out.
They lead in the series, 4-3 in that series. Not many ball clubs that have that distinction.
Nope, the only other club that leads Oakland is the New England Patriots. Play action. A little down and out to McCullum, and he's got it. He's still in bounds. McCullum still on his feet across the midfield stripe. Dwayne Osteen had him at the 42-yard line and could not bring him down.
There's an example of where that sprint draw comes into play. This time Zorn faked the sprint draw. Osteen was man-on-man with number 84, Sam McCullum. McCullum drove him downfield, got Dwayne to turn his back, and then came back to the football, made the catch, and made a great move after he caught the football.
Look here, look here. Green Bay over the Rams in the third quarter, 16-14. Zorn on 1st and 10, plenty of room. And the man he went for there was Largent. And the guy who knocked it away, Lester Hayes, and he is a happy man. So the Seahawks now faced with a second down situation. Let's go to New York.
Okay, this is Brian Gumble in New York. At Mile High Stadium, the Colts are really having their problems against the Denver Broncos. Broncos operating without star kick returner Rick Upchurch. You talk about people picking up the slack. Look at Wade Manning here breaking loose down the right side. Very good gain, giving the Broncos good field position, and they already own a 28-10 lead. Phil?
Thank you, Brian. Here it is the Seahawks football at the Raider 49, 2nd and 10. Seahawks trail by 10 minutes, 30 seconds to play in the game. Zorn under pressure, now tries to unload to McCullum and way underthrows him. Oh, what pressure. Dave Browning and John Matuzak closing in. When you look at those two guys, Gene, Browning and Matuzak, Browning looks like a very small individual standing next to Twos, and he is not small.
Well, you can see them both applying the pressure here. Zorn has to roll out to his right, and for a left-handed quarterback, that's awfully tough because, as you can see, he has to try to turn around and throw it, and basically all he did was try to get rid of it and avoid being sacked. Dave Browning putting tremendous pressure on him, and as you mentioned, when he stands next to 6'8", 285-pound John Twos Matusak, he does look small, but in fact he's not. He's about 6'5" himself.
The Seahawks now faced with a 3rd and 10 situation. Long count. Zorn throws long. Nobody there. I think he was expecting Sherm Smith to do a kind of a hook and go, and he simply hooked and didn't go.
No doubt about it. He thought that Smith was going to turn upfield, but number 23, Otis McKinney, who's filling in for an injured strong safety, Mike Davis, was Johnny on the spot. He was right there. Gave the receiver no place to go.
And McKinney is hobbling a little bit now. Looks as if he might have caught a cleat when he made his turn. Remains in the ball game. Jeff West will punt for Seattle. Ira Matthews, the lone return man, a high snap, and West gets off, got a boomer, and it just rolls into the end zone. 49-yard punt for Jeff West. And so the Oakland Raiders, who already own a 10-point lead here in the 4th quarter with 10:09 to play, will have the football. Today these Oakland Raiders travel to the Pontiac Silverdome to take on the Detroit Lions. Tell you what, there's a ball club that's going to win some football games this year, Gene. They were beaten today by the Vikings. 1st and 10, Oakland. Ball at the 20. The give, Arthur Whittington around the right side. He gains about 4 yards on the play. Knocked down by Kenny Easley.
Peter Cronin.
Peter Cronin. Whittington, 5'11", 180 pounds.
Take a look at number 45, Ken Easley, we talked about early in the show. He has done such a super job for Seattle, filling into that safety spot.
We remind you, as you take a look at that particular picture, we are still set up for Billy Ball here in Oakland. Football field is laid out exactly 90 degrees from the way it usually is. Derek Jensen tries the left side, nothing there. It is Kerry Justin, the cornerback, coming up to make the stop. So the Raiders will be faced with a 3rd and about 3 situation.
That's not a bad situation as Jim Plunkett takes a look to see how far he has to go. In this situation, if you have a guy in the backfield like 33 Kenny King with that speed, and Derek Jensen, number 31, who's running well, now you have the option of throwing the ball or running it for the 1st down. Arthur Whittington is in the ball game right now, and he possesses great speed. So you can run the ball or throw it. You just have a few yards to go, and there's always play action.
Wide receiver at the top of your screen. That is Cliff Blanche.
Arthur Whittington.
And Whittington carries the ball around the left side. Tuiasa Sopo makes the stop, and there's a Seahawk down. And he's not moving a whole lot.
That's number 75, Robert Hardy. Defensive tackle has done such an outstanding job for Seattle. And as you said, Phil, he really hasn't moved very much. Maybe he just has a wind knocked out of him.
You know, coming into this ball game, the Oakland Raiders average less than 3 yards a pass. They have certainly turned that around here this afternoon. 4th quarter score, it is 20-10. Oakland leads it. We'll be back. Defensive tackle for the Seahawks limping off the field. Looks like a right knee. It's a sprained right knee. That is not Robert Hardy. One of the Raiderettes providing some of the sideline entertainment. What a job they do. Oh, the Raiders faced with a punting situation. And it'll be Ray Guy, who's averaging 49 yards a punt coming into today's game. Will Lewis back to receive for Seattle. Long count. Week in and week out, he continues to do it. Lewis at his own 32. Tries to get around one man and cannot do it. So the Seahawks with a long way to go and not a whole lot of time to get there. 7:58 to play. Raiders lead Seattle 20-10. A few moments ago, 16-14 have now come back to take a 21-16 lead over the Green Bay Packers. Ray Malavasi, gotta believe, is breathing a little easier, at least for a moment. This guy's really into this ball game. A setback, Sherman Smith, Jim Jodett out of the eye. Play action, Zorn scrambling for his life, throws it up in the air and almost picked off. He was looking for Smith, and he almost found Ted Hendricks. Johnny Robinson providing an awful lot of pressure to Mr. Zorn. Watch the rookie out of Louisiana Tech, Gene. Great pressure.
Tremendous pressure from number 68, Johnny Robinson. There he is, barreling in there. But let's take a look at big number 72, John Matusak. And he's beating 76, Steve August. August sticks his arm out there, grabs him a little bit. He's the best offensive lineman Seattle has. Number 76, Steve August, against 72, John Matusak.
2nd and 10, ball at the 32 again. Play action, Zorn rolling left. Plenty of time, he can find a receiver. Got a man, and he's got it. Out of bounds, just across midfield. Now they're saying no. No catch, and Largent can't believe it. The official scrambled to the point of the catch, Gene. I thought he had it.
Well, Phil, this is a situation now where the officials, they're looking for help. If they're not exactly sure of the call, they'll look to another official, and sometimes they'll have a conference. I think the official who was there on the spot really didn't have a good angle. He consulted the other official, and he ruled that he was out.
That's a credit to the officials in the National Football League. If they are unsure of a call, they'll consult with one another. It is now 3rd and 10. The ball resting at the 33-yard line. 7 minutes, 45 seconds to play here in this ball game. Seattle 10 points behind. Again, play action, rolling left. Zorn's going to try it again. Plenty of time. He's got a man. Largent goes up, and he's hammered out of bounds. And the man doing the hammering,
number 35, Dwayne Osteen. Osteen saw that he had an opportunity there to get even because he had been beaten earlier a few times, and he got even. He got even with the arm coming across the back. But Largent had no chance of that football.
You take your shots when the opportunities provide themselves, believe me. Jeff West in to kick it away for Seattle. Ira Matthews back to receive. Look at Oakland. They got 10 men up on the line, and they're all coming. And the kick is away, an end-over-end kick. Matthews with a return at his own 29. He'll get out of bounds at the 40. Helping him out of bounds was Gregory Johnson. And so, as a capacity crowd looks on, they are watching their Oakland Raiders with a 20-10 lead over the Seattle Seahawks. There you see it, a beautiful afternoon in Oakland, and despite the telephone company and the problems with AT&T earlier in this ball game, what's phenomenal pictures from our producer Roy Hammerman, our director Barry Stoddard. They've done an outstanding job for us today. Jensen right up the gut. A gain of about 5 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5. The Raiders now with the football and a 10-point lead. Mike White in to make the stop along with Peter Cronin. Robert Hardy is still out of the ball game. Doug Sutherland is in to replace him. Hardy out with a knee problem. He walked off the field limping, so we would assume it is not a serious knee problem. The defensive line now for Seattle is Green, White, Sutherland, and Anderson. The give to Jensen, left side. And he's out close to the first down, probably a yard shy. It'll be another 3rd down situation for Oakland. Peter Cronin again on the stop with Manitou Yasasopo. 6 minutes, 41 seconds. The clock running here at Oakland. The Raiders lead it 20-10.
They picked up the first down, Phil. Oakland again, when they get a change of possession, their offense comes on the field. First thing they do is they give it to one of their backs behind the big line, and their offensive line has been pushing Seattle back.
Coming wide to the right is Morris Bradshaw. The give to Jensen, and again the Raiders content to hammer it out on the ground and keep that clock running. And running it is. 6:08 to play. A 2nd and 7 situation for Oakland. While we have a moment, we'd like to thank our spotters today up here in the broadcast booth, Bill Breslin and Lynn Shapiro, Statsman Ted Reinholtz. Actually, I should say our broadcast cage being dangled above the 50-yard line because of this baseball configuration. Bradshaw wide to the right. Cliff Branch to the top of your screen. Jensen, King, the running backs. Play action. Jim Plunkett had ideas of a delayed quarterback sneak. However, he was not able to pull it off. A quarterback draw. Mike White, Keith Butler in to sniff it out.
He couldn't pull it off because they had the blitz on. And you'll see number 53, Keith Butler. Plunkett fakes the handoff. He's going to do a little rollout. But Seattle floods the gates. They're in there. There he is, 53, Keith Butler coming in, making a tackle. And that's what Seattle's going to have to do. They're going to have to change up the rhythm on defense. They can't sit back and let Oakland run out that clock because they've got to get the ball back to their offense, so they're going to have to start the blitz.
Now you're exactly right, Gene. It's tee-off time for the Seattle Seahawks. Plunkett back to pass. Tuiasosopo had a shot at him, could not quite get there. Oh, looky here. Can you believe Derek Ramsey had his hands on the football, open by at least 5 yards, and could not control it?
Plunkett comes off the field a little disgusted by that one because he had a first down, I think, had Ramsey held on to the football.
Now the report on Robert Hardy, the defensive tackle for Seattle, a bruised knee. He will not return today. They are hopeful he will be back in time for the Kansas City Bowl game next Sunday in the Kingdom. Well, Ray Guy will go back to punt. Will Lewis, the lone return man for the Seahawks, standing at his own 11-yard line. Just like a machine. Will Lewis is going to let it bounce, and will it go into the end zone? No, it will not. He gambled and lost. "47 yards, just like a machine." So the Seattle Seahawks in trouble now. Will take the ball at their own 5-yard line. What can you say, Gene, about Ray Guy?
The ball does exactly what he wants. He kicks the ball down at about the 7-yard line, and it bounces out on about the 4 or 5. And as you mentioned before, he went 47 yards. If he wanted to, he could have kicked it into the end zone, but the ball comes back out to the 20. Tremendous athlete. He can also throw the football about 70 yards. Great athlete. Number 8, Ray Guy.
Well, he's an incredible human being. He's also the number 3 quarterback on this team since Pastorini was released. Zorn, quick out pass to Largent. He's got it. And he'll pick up about 7 yards on the play. Still on his feet as whistles finally sound. Lester Hayes wraps him up there after a pickup of about 6 yards on the play.
Seattle continues to use that motion, bringing their receivers across field, and that doesn't allow Oakland's defensive backs to get set and use their superior strength in the bump and run situation.
Dave Hughes, Sherman Smith, the setbacks for Seattle. 2nd and 2. Over the middle, it is Largent again. And the man pulling him down is Randy McClanahan, the inside left linebacker.
Seattle's going with their hurry-up offense. They're trying to get the ball down the field because they know they have to score twice. Zorn is audibly calling the plays as they line up.
Now, you hate to be put in a situation where you have to throw the football against these Raiders. They got a man there. That is McCullum, and he's out of bounds with a first down. There's so much time spent, Gene, talking about the New England Patriots secondary. Few people realize it was these Oakland Raiders who led the league in interceptions last year.
They're a very good group. Let's take a look. Zorn drops back. Oakland is content to let him throw underneath. He gets a good pass route from number 84, McCullum, who goes down, comes back out. He gets as much yardage as he can. He gets out of bounds to stop the clock. Sam McCullum, who really came into his own last year, very, very intelligent ball player, really knows how to work those defensive backs, and it has a good game so far today, particularly with these Raiders who play a lot of man-on-man defense.
Zorn on first down. Right over the middle, he's got a man. It is Jodak. And he's across the 50-yard line into Raider territory. Burgess Owens and Lester Hayes finally combined to bring him down. I didn't know this. Lester Hayes wears kangaroo skin shoes when he plays on real grass.
Well, that's because they're very light. I used to wear those shoes too, and I was really upset when they stopped making them. I don't know where he gets his from.
Sherman Smith to the 40-yard line. It is McClanahan. Seattle should have been using their hurry-up offense about 2 quarters ago.
What this does is that it tires out the defensive lineman. You can see that John Matuzak is slow getting down. Those guys are tired now. As long as Seattle can continue to hold on to the football, he's going to get more time to throw it.
McCullum, and he's made the catch. A first down as the Seahawks continue to move the ball right down the football field. Chet Hendricks knocks him out of bounds. Watch the placement of his feet just inside the chalk.
I mentioned before that McCullum really came into his own last year, having a great season, gets control of the ball, gets both feet in, and just barely gets that 1 foot in. Terrific effort on the part of Sam McCullum. Very intelligent football player.
Well, he's a part of the veteran allocation program back in 1976 when the Seahawks came into being.
Oakland may blitz.
Zorn with pressure, and he cannot complete the pass. Intended for Jim Jodat. Rod Martin was there to put the hit on Jodat.
Martin is a very active linebacker, has good speed to go along with the strength. Oakland finally changed up. They got out of their zone defense and went into a man-to-man situation. As long as Oakland stays in that zone, Zorn will pick them apart with his backs coming out of the backfield, running a little crossing action, and he'll throw the ball underneath. Now that Oakland has gotten backed up a little bit, I think you're going to see them in their man-to-man, and we may even see a blitz or two.
2 minutes, 51 seconds to play. Zorn has thrown for 300 yards today, but he finds his Seahawks in the short end of a 20-10 score. Largent in motion. Zorn wants to go to the air. Pressure. Right over the middle, and he cannot complete it. That's what happens when you start feeling the pressure and hearing the footsteps.
Well, he had good reason to hear the footsteps because they were all around him. Those Raiders in those black jerseys, they were coming. They were putting the heat on.
And it's like I was mentioning, Gene, you hate to have to be put in a situation to throw the football against these Raiders. They'll just come right at you.
Well, Jim Zorn has the agility. He has more agility probably than any other quarterback in the league. And when he needs time, he tries to make it by running around the football field.
The Seahawks now go with 3 wide receivers: McCullum, McGrath, Largent. Smith and Hughes, the running backs. Largent goes in motion. Zorn will run it. And the football is ripped free, and the Raiders have it.
There he is, number 44, Burgess Owens, the big play man. Zorn makes a tremendous effort. He's getting lots of pressure. He's getting blitzed by 83 Ted Hendricks. He sees an opening. He turns to go upfield, but he makes a fatal mistake by not giving the hook slide. He should get down right now. He doesn't. Number 41, the first-round draft choice, number 41, Ted Watts, strips him of the football. Burgess Owens, a big play guy at free safety, comes up with the football, saving a potential touchdown. There he is with the high five. Number 44, Burgess Owens.
And the thing that makes it particularly tough for Seattle is he had the first down. Jensen out across the 19-yard line near the 20. 2 minutes, 27 seconds to play. And Seattle has to stop the clock. They are 20, it is 20-10. Oakland leads it. Now let's go to New York for an update on the baseball scores. We'll be right back. Here in Oakland, we are winding down. 2 minutes, 27 seconds to play in the ball game. The Raiders with a 20-10 lead, and the football at their own 20-yard line. It is 2nd and 8. Plunkett to Kenny King. Trying to get around the left side. Not much there. Oakland has amassed 437 yards today. Seattle 381 yards. And that's saying something about the offense of these two teams, Gene, because both the Seahawks and the Raiders were tied for 4th in the AFC in total defense. So both teams moving the football well today, but it is Oakland with the superiority here today. Oakland Raiders with the football. They have it at their own 23-yard line. It is 3rd and 5. Wide to the left, the top of your screen is Cliff Branch. Coming to the near side is Morris Bradshaw. Jensen and King, the running backs. Plunkett will go up top. Flag goes down. Plunkett has the first down and a whole lot more. Out to his 34-yard line.
Jim Plunkett carries
35. Yep.
Holding against Oakland.
There'll be a penalty.
But Jim Plunkett did what Jim Zorn should have done. He got his first down and he hook slid. But all to no avail.
Now Jim Plunkett is used to doing this.
Well, in Plunkett's first few years in New England, he had to run an awful lot, and he got beat up an awful lot. So he knows that there's no point in taking any unnecessary hits. He runs up the field, he gets his first down, and as you'll see, once he gets past that first down marker, he gets down. He looks to the first down marker, hook slide, safe.
The man chasing him, Gene, was Robert Hardy, who has gone back into the ball game with that bruised knee. They said he would not return, yet he has returned. Number 75, the defensive tackle for the Seahawks. Plunkett now with 3rd and 15. The give, Whittington, right side. Just on his feet, out across the 20-yard line. Ball pops loose, but after the whistle. Gain of about 7-8 yards on the play. Keith Butler there, Kenny Easley there. We are at the 2-minute warning. So the clock is stopped. Seattle trailing the Oakland Raiders 20-10. We'll be back to Oakland right after this update from New York. Updates Bryant Gumbel. Here in Oakland, it is 20-10 Raiders. 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Oakland faced with a 4th and 5 at their own 23-yard line. And Ray Guy will put his foot to the football again. Will Lewis back to receive for the Seahawks. Lewis will take it at his own 29, and he'll have a return. Still on his feet across the midfield stripe, finally knocking them down. Big number 55. And that is Matt Millen, the second-year man out of Penn State. One of Joe Paterno's Nittany Lions. And take a look at Matt. So Seattle with a last gasp effort to try and get something on the board. They trail by 10, a minute 49 to play.
Well, they have good field position. Zorn's just going to have to get the ball down the field in a hurry and hope for something good so they can kick off with an onside kick and hope to get their hands on it again.
3 wide receivers now for the Seahawks. Hughes and Smith alone setbacks. Right over the middle, little crossing pattern to number 46, David Hughes. He's out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Finally bumping him out was Ted Watts.
Well, Oakland is going to be content to let Seattle throw the ball underneath to their running backs about 5 yards deep. Then they'll close and make the tackle. They don't want to give up a big play. They don't want to let Zorn throw the ball downfield. They're going to sit way back there, make him throw the football in front, and come up and make the tackle. At least that's what they hope to do.
It is now 2nd down. 3 yards to go. The ball marked on the 41-yard line. As you take a look at Jim Zorn. Sherman Smith.
Sherman Smith on the end of
The
that
Raider
pass.
32. Matt Millen there again. At a first down for Seattle as we take a look at some other scores.
Seattle first down at the
28-10.
39.
Denver over Baltimore. That now a final. 1st and 10. Zorn to Sherman Smith again. Across the 25-yard line, trying to fight his way near the 22. It is Ted Hedrick.
Johnny Robinson making the stop.
Look at this one. Los Angeles starting to step it out now over Bart Starr's Packers. Giants over New Orleans, 27 fourth quarter. It is 2nd and 2. Zorn's got a man picked up by Watts. The man he was going for, Gene, was Sam McCullum. He simply underthrew the football.
Well, I don't think that Zorn saw number 41, Ted Watts, because he threw a perfect strike right to the number 1 draft choice. As you can see, there he is. He threw it right into his hands. I think that's his first interception.
Yes, it is. The rookie out of Texas Tech was right there where he had to be. You're right. I don't think
Is that a perfect pass right in his hands? I think what had happened is that Ted may have slipped down, so when Zorn looked over there, he didn't see anything, and as soon as he threw the ball, number 41 stood up and picked it off.
Well, a minute to play here in Oakland. And it appears as if the Raiders will extend their record to 2-1. The Seahawks will drop to 1-2. But Seattle returning home to the Kingdome next week against the Kansas City Chiefs, team which gave the Chargers all they wanted today at Arrowhead Stadium before finally bowing to San Diego. So Jim Plunkett will be content to just fall on the football, knowing that Seattle has just one timeout remaining. And apparently, Gene, they're not going to use it. The clock continues to run. 44, 43, 42.
Take a look at the happy fans. Beautiful day for football, sun tanning and everything else. Phil, one thing, Oakland all day long played as a very confident football team. Even when the game was close, you had the sense that they knew they were going to win. And that confidence is exemplified by number 16, Jim Plunkett, who had some bad throws early, but came back and made good throws and made up for them.
Well, as you commented, Gene, when you play for a Super Bowl and you lead a team to a Super Bowl, somehow that brings all the confidence you need. As both teams start to trot off the field, there are still 7, 6 seconds, 5 seconds remaining in the game, but they'll not have time for another play. So the Oakland Raiders pull it off today. The final score, the Oakland Raiders 20, the Seattle Seahawks 10. We'll be back in just a moment. At the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, the Oakland Raiders extending their record in 1981 to 2-1 with a 20-10 beating of the Seattle Seahawks. Other scores around the league today: Miami over the Houston Oilers 16-10. Cleveland over Cincinnati 20-17. Sipe finding an offense. Pittsburgh over the New York Jets 38-10. Atlanta crushing San Francisco 34-17. Other scores around the league, look at this one. Minnesota upending the Detroit Lions 26-24. It was Washington losing to the St. Louis Cardinals 40-30. San Diego, as we told you just a few moments ago, look at this one. Freewheeling offensive affair over the Kansas City Chiefs 42-31. Chicago over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. John McKay, an unhappy man, 28-17. It was Denver over the Baltimore Colts. The Colts giving them a time for a while. The final there 28-10. And Los Angeles over Green Bay 35-16. Look here, fourth quarter score. The Giants over the New Orleans Saints 20-7. And those are all the scores we have for you. It was an interesting game here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Really simply a case of the Raiders dominating the Seattle Seahawks today. The executive producer of NBC's NFL Football is Don Ohlmeyer. The coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by Roy Hammerman, directed by Barry Stoddard, technical director Dick Roker, associate director Ray Bonassi. For Gene Washington, this is Phil Stone saying goodbye from Oakland, California.
Promotional fee is